The What to Read Next podcast helps you build a TBR of future favorite books. In each episode, Lori and Mean interviews authors and book influencers to recommend books they loved for you to pick up today. If you're an avid reader, always looking for your next great read, then the show's for you. Hi, Sally. Welcome to What to Read Next podcast.
Thanks for having me, Laura.
So happy to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm Australian, as you can probably tell from the accent. I am probably best known for my first book, which is called The Hating Game, which was released in 2016 and has been adapted into a movie, which is, yay, so exciting. And I've got a new book coming out in September, on September 6th, and it's called Angelika Frankenstein Makes Her Match.
All right, so let's chat about Angelika because it feels like it's a departure, but it's not about this book from your other contemporaries. Because this is like a little bit historical. It's a little bit, paranormal-ish, So talk to us about Angelika. Tell us the elevator pitch.
Okay, well, I blame COVID lockdown entirely for Angelika. I was in the room that you can see me sitting in right now, and I was working on edits for my third book, Second First Impressions, but I kind of like to keep two projects running at the same time. And I very often will do like a little writer's exercise to sort of keep the creative juices flowing. And that usually consists of opening a blank Word document and writing the worst page of fiction that I can possibly muster. That's right. You heard me right. I want to write the worst. It is usually very silly, and it's usually an argument where the couple are standing too close to the edge of a cliff and she keeps walking backwards and her foot's slipping on the edge of the cliff, and I describe their clothes too much and their names change halfway through. So on this particular day I was going to go for that. I was going to just write something just totally crazy, just for a page, just to get the juices flowing. And I opened a blank Word document and I wrote, Angelika Frankenstein knew the physical attributes her perfect man should have. Unfortunately, she had to find those at the morgue. And I was really surprised because I had never in my life thought that sentence before. And my brain just did a random word generate and created that. And I thought, how do I know who Angelika Frankenstein is? And why does she spell her name with a K instead of a C? And I just let my fingers keep typing to see where this went. And I realized I was writing a historical retelling of Mary Shelley's classic, The Prometheus Frankenstein. So no one was more surprised than me. And as I was writing, I realized I recognized the house that I was describing. It's my doll house that you can see behind me here, that I've had for over 10 years. So I wrote my dollhouse into it. So it makes a cameo. Obviously, it's a full-sized house that they live in. But yeah, it was all just because I couldn't leave the house.
I love this COVID project because it probably was like a different escape from where we're locked down, where we're just not sure what's going on. You have this world you get to create, and you already have a physical attribute that you can look at to. You can look at your house and be like, here's visualizing, seeing it happen, that is a better escape than, being where we were in 2020, 2021,
Totally. The imagination is a very powerful thing. And if you're cooped up and you've got nowhere to go, maybe you get a little stir crazy. Yeah. Maybe that's what happened.
Yes. So, all right. So I want to talk about Second First Impressions because it's by far one of my favorite books of all time. It is so quirky and lovely, and I have to admit, I love the idea of being rich retired women, who hire man boys to be their servants, So what was the source of inspiration or for that book? Because it's such a unique setting, a retirement villa to set up this world.
Okay. Second first impressions was a joke that me and my friend used to tell each other, that when we were very, very old and we were very, very rich, we would be roommates in a expensive retirement villa, and we would hire handsome young men to run errands for us, essentially in a nutshell. So this was always, if we were having a bad day at work, we'd look forward to those times where we would just order a pizza for lunch and go to Chanel and buy a new coin purse. And this is just basically that daydream.
It is that daydream and just so much more, because there's twists, there's turns, there's ideas that you just don't realize until the end of the book, and it's just like such a warm cozy feeling just to read it. That just it's perfect escape. Like I read it, I think it came out in 2021, so it was like around COVID. So I remember reading it really early and be like, oh my gosh, this is just like a good escape of like what do I wish to be in like 30, 40 years from now, be in a retirement villa.
Oh, I'm glad it had that effect. Yes, I wrote it with the intention of it being like a warm blanket fresh out of the dryer.
Yeah.
That book is a cardigan, it is a cheese board, it is going to bed early.
Yeah.
It is a celebration of self-care.
Yeah.
And it contains one of my favorite characters I've ever written, Teddy, who is a manic pixie dream boy. I loved writing a really open-hearted, sweet, a boy that's almost blown in on the breeze like Mary Poppins to
Yeah.
change everyone's life.
Yes. Oh, so good. All right. So The Hating Game was adapted to a movie. What was the process for you as an author seeing your work actually in a movie?
Well, of course, it was very cool. The film option sold pretty early. So that often happens if a book is popular, I think. But I didn't expect it to ever go any further to be developed. But they wrote the screenplay, which I had the opportunity to read. And I thought, wow, this is great. There's bits in here that I wish that I'd written in my book.
Yeah.
And I felt even more amazing when I woke up one morning to lots of text messages from people in the States. Obviously, I'm in Australia, I'm on a different time zone. So everything interesting that happens to me is when I'm asleep in bed. So I woke up to a lot of texts saying congratulations. I'm thinking, congratulations for what? Lucy Hale was attached to the project, which was surreal. She's literally perfect for the role. Like you couldn't have picked anyone better. She is Lucy. And then COVID hit, and I thought, geez, we got so close. But luckily for me, I wrote a book that's really set in only a few key locations. So they were able to create a COVID safe set, and they started filming it. It was unreal. I felt really far away because I couldn't travel. Australia had no flights in or out. So that's my only regret, that I couldn't visit the set, but I did a virtual set visit. And I would like to say my biggest takeaway from the whole experience, whilst it's of course really gratifying personally to see something, my creation on the screen, it was even more gratifying to see all those people working on the set and realizing that I created something that in turn gave other people their dream jobs. And there were rails of wardrobe clothes, and there were guys rolling up cords. There were, set designers. And I thought, how cool. Like, I love being part of something bigger than me. And the movie was that.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I love that takeaway. And now you can stream the movie, it is a
I have
thing.
my own custom-made movie. Not many people can say that. So
Yeah. So, and it can be like a comfort zone and a gateway for others to start reading again, because they're like, must read the book now. So,
and I noticed that quite a few more books are now being developed as movies. And for example, BCDF, who were the producers of The Hating Game, they're now producing The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. And like it's just cool. Like I just like to be I'm not going to say the first, but I
Yeah.
like to be I like to think that there are many, many more amazing movies to come.
Yes. Well, I think in some ways you actually opened ground. Like you were in the wave of the rom-coms. Like The Hating Game was like an early rom-coms, and now it's like that's what we see. So it's kind of exciting that you're like opening up the way for more rom-com movies, to come up, because we haven't had that in like years. Like I miss the 90s and the early 2000s of rom-com era. So we need
You're a
this.
bit too Are you a bit too young for that?
No, I am 41.
You're
So
in there? Okay. Yeah, I remember the rom-com boom in the 2000s, like the Bridget
yeah.
Jones Diary era. It was awesome. I love those kind of books, and I always loved the feeling that they gave me. So when I wrote The Hating Game, at the time, it felt really different to what was currently really popular and being published. Books were a bit sort of darker and sexier and had a
Mhm.
lot of covers with roses on the front. And so when they created this cartoon illustrated cover, I sort of said to them, "Oh, are you sure? Like, this is really going to stick out on the shelves." And they said, "No, no, don't worry. Trust us." This is why it's really great to be part of a publishing team that really knows their stuff. And um, now, when you have a look at the shelves, there are illustrated covers wall to wall, and
Yeah.
I love, I love it.
I love this. Oh, so much. So in terms of books, do you have a book you recommend our listeners to pick up, whether it's a favorite, an old a classic, you know, tried and true book,
Books that I love.
books that you love?
Um, Well, I mean, I've already mentioned Christina Lauren. They're my friends, and they're the reason why I'm published at all. So I will always be a ride or die CeeLo fan. I'm lucky sometimes I get to read them before they're even an advanced copy. I got to read Something Wilder when it was still a draft. So that's one of the perks of having amazing friends. So they'll be an insta buy for me forever. I love Marian Keyes, like that throwback to that original rom-com era.
Yes.
Marianne Keyes is the queen, and I will buy her books without even needing to read the back. And she's been writing this entire time, killing it. I love Vari McFarlane. I love Tessa Bailey. Tessa Bailey is a one click. Her books are like so hot and so funny, and I just love it. So yeah, I mean, we're really lucky. We've got just such a choice of authors right now. It's just what a great time to be a reader.
It really is. Oh, so good. So, Sally, tell us where we can find you online.
My website, sallythorneauthor.com. You can follow me on Instagram, Sally Thorne Author. Um, but I'm not on TikTok. I know that the Hating Game's, a big deal on TikTok, but I can't go there because I'll get too addicted. I'll never write another book. So thank you all for everyone who's making cute Hating Game TikToks. I love you guys. And yeah, I mean, I'm trying to stay offline as much as I
Yeah.
can to write another book, but you'll catch me occasionally.
Awesome. Thank you, Sally, for being on the show.
Oh, thanks so much, Laura.
If you enjoyed this podcast, feel free to share with friends, subscribe, rate, and review the show. This is the easiest way to support the podcast. For a list of books mentioned and other romance recommendations, please visit watchyournextblog.com. Did you know you can purchase audiobooks directly from your favorite local bookstore? With Libra.fm, you can pick up more than 250,000 audiobooks, including bestsellers and recommendations from real booksellers. You'll get the same audiobooks at the same price as the largest audiobook company, you know the name, but you'll be part of a different story, one that supports the local community. If you're new to audiobooks, they're the perfect way to squeeze more reading into your busy life. Listen with the free Libra.fm app while you do your chores, walk the dog, relax at home. If you already love audiobooks and don't know what to listen next, check out recommendations from people who know the best booksellers. The Watch Your Next podcast has a special offer for our listeners. Get 2 audiobooks on Libra.fm for the price of one with your first month membership. Use code WatchYourNext. The offer is valid only for new members in Canada and the US. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day.